welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at the Aztec astrology and the zodiac that the Aztecs had in place. Now it can be quite confusing with the Aztec and the Mayan zodiacs. Obviously they operated under a different measurement of time. I think also because predominantly the Aztecs and definitely the Mayans lived in sort of more tropical locations. Their measures of the year are different. For instance, they have a particular calendar. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I will find it for when I do the Mayans. But essentially it ends up being 13 signs over 20-day months, equaling a year that is only 260 days long. Because the wet and the dry seasons all basically got on the equator. So the site that I found actually has a way that you can work out which one is your sign, and it was pretty accurate for me. I already sort of knew. If you've seen my get to know me video, you know that I know that I'm either a crocodile, a stag, or a bat. So I sort of fit in there somewhere. And this one actually ended up, when I did the whole little bit at the end, which I will get to, did end up landing on one of those three. So let's get into it. And obviously the link for this will be in the description down below. I'm going to set this up here, so it's a little less of a head drop and more just a looking down sort of thing. Cool. So each month, a new Aztec divinity holds influence over the fates of men. There are 20 divinities in total, according to this one. Time is based on a cycle that alternates with the seasons. Each day sign lasts for about 24 hours and is influenced by a number and a colour. So obviously here we're only looking at the day signs. Like I said, 13 signs by 20 days. We're looking at the day signs here. And so obviously that needed to be extended out from the 260 that we got. And this one does actually help quite a bit. Makes it a little bit easier to digest. So sign number 1, we are going to go through all 20. I'm going to try and be quick. So sign number 1 is the crocodile or the caiman. It is called Cipactli, and obviously bears the number 1 and the colour green because that's what they are. It symbolises knowledge. This sign likes logic and logical thinking. They have a very strong will. They're good at organising, understanding, and analysing. Their planet is Venus, and their divinity is. You know what? I like not to read what their divinities are. I can tell you what number 2's is because it's Quetzalcoatl, but I don't trust myself with all the other gods' names. Mayan and Aztec deities are not a strong suit as far as pronunciation is concerned. Number 2 is the wind, which is Hecalt, and it knows how to overcome obstacles. When a storm blows, this sign always manages to calm itself down in the end. This sign is flexible and consequently is also very agile. They are the people who are both physically and morally strong, but that can make them very difficult to please. And its planet is also Venus. Number 4 is the house, or the Kali. Number 3, and its colour is dark green. Interesting to note that planet the wind didn't give us its colour. Okay. The house is generous and welcoming. The house sign likes other people and therefore seeks to find balance with people, and particularly seeking out its soulmate. House signs are rarely on their own, and they find their place among family and in a routine. Their planet is Saturn. I think from here on out we just won't talk about the planets either. It sort of goes in a pattern of two or three. Anyway, number 4 is the lizard, Quetzalcoatl. There's number 4. Doesn't, again, no colours. Some are giving us numbers. Some are not giving us numbers. Some are giving us both numbers and colours. Some aren't giving us the colours. It's whoever wrote this didn't put all of the information in, and that annoys me just a little bit. Anyway, in Aztec culture, the lizard represents vivacity. So they're very lively. They're not lazy. It handles any situation like really well, and it's incredibly resistant. People of the lizard sign are also very prudent when confronting an obstacle. They go in sort of stark contrast to Coatli, the snake, which bears number 5 and is presented with the colour orange, likely due to the colours of snakes in the Americas. Snake signs are spontaneous and often act without reason. Their reactions can often be surprising. In the story of humanity, the snake symbolises reconciliation between heaven and earth, and they also represent laziness. Like I said, stark opposite. The next one is Quetzalcoatl, which is death. You've got to be really metal to be born under this sign. Is represented by the number 6, which if you repeat it 3 times is the sign of the devil, so that kind of makes sense there. And with the colour purple, which is great. It's also the colour for epilepsy awareness, so I feel good about that. Death is word given to man. Right, so they sort of look more at like languages, laws, ethics. People of this sign are often introverted, and they're sort of not able to free themselves from the gaze of others, as this puts it. For them, life with a house sign will make them happy and bring them some self-confidence. Number 7 is Mazatli, the stag or the deer. This animal represents prestige and rarity because it's difficult to track in the high plateaus of Mexico, where the Aztecs come from. It's also synonymous with shyness, tenacity, and being a dreamer. People of this sign are also highly sociable. I recognize that god's name. Tlaloc, I recognize his name. He's a storm god, if I'm not mistaken. Number 8 is the rabbit. Its colour is indigo blue. Rabbit enjoys life's pleasures. Yeah, they do. They are a symbol of fertility. Delicate and timid, this sign also hates conflict. Lovers, not fighters. People of this sign make for pleasant company, always smiling, and they are very hardworking. You're right, that does make them pleasant company. They're also prone to anguish and like to have control over their lives. Number 9 is water, which is just Atli. This sign symbolises rarity, fertility, and need. In Aztec astrology, it's also a symbol of worry, anguish, and instability, which kind of accurate to the actual element of water being emotions. So that's really weird. Water signs are incredibly sensitive people. Number 10 is the dog. We're now halfway there. It's Quintly, and they are symbolised by the number 10. There's no colour here. People of this sign are generous and ready to do anything to help and feel useful. They're really brave and they're highly intuitive, but they're also very shy. We've then got the monkey, Ozomatli. They are the number 11, and they are the colour golden yellow, which was not, I hadn't read this article before choosing the lighting colour behind me, so that's just a coincidence that we ended up getting number 11s. People of the monkey sign are modest, charming, and are able to adapt to any situation. They are naturally beautiful and seductive. Sorry, just trying to make sense of what this is saying. But they don't. Right. So it says here they're naturally beautiful and seductive, but who do not do things in their own interest. They are simply natural and pleasant. So I'm assuming that means that they are kind of like the Hufflepuff of the group. They would rather do things for other people than try and further their own gain, I'm assuming. Anyway, according to Aztec tradition, the monkey gave fire to man out of love and compassion. So in Aztec tradition, Prometheus was a monkey, essentially. Number 12 is the sign of grass. We're literally talking about like the ground covering outside in your backyard. Malinali, it's called, represented by the number 12, and I would assume also the colour green. I say I would assume because it doesn't tell me, but it's also one of the most mysterious signs in Aztec astrology. Sometimes it represents good news, and other times it represents traits that must be overcome. It's a sign of sensitivity and resistance. We've then got the reed, which is a Cutley, and I've got to imagine that the Utley bit in there references the fact that reeds generally grow next to water. But the reed is a sign that loves life, and it bears the number 13. Clearly, the Aztecs didn't think it was unlucky. This sign is a symbol of paradise on earth, since it is in Atlantic surroundings that traditional reeds grow. The reed symbolises gaiety, optimism, and life's most simple pleasures, which, look, it's a good thing to have. It has two gods. It's the first one I've seen that has two gods. The number 14 is the jaguar, which its other name is the ocelot, which makes a lot of sense given that its traditional name is ocelotl. That's it. And its colour is black. So you guys, if you end up having this as your sign, you're literally the Black Panthers, which is sick. Wakanda forever, and obviously may the man, the myth, the legend himself rest in power. But the ocelot is gifted with great strength of character, but can easily become aggressive. People of this sign can be calmed by the presence of a flower sign, which is the last one, or the monkey, which I'm sure actual jaguars would love if they had a monkey to eat. The ocelot is a feline creature. If you didn't know this, the ocelot, the jaguar, is a feline creature found in South America, and is often very unfaithful in love. It's a sign that just goes for it. It takes Shia LaBeouf's advice and it just does it. Number 15, Guawabli, is the eagle, and bears number 15, and its colour is silver. It's the eagle. We're talking America here. It represents strength, virility, and courage. This is the traditional meaning of the eagle in Mexico. Eagles have lucid minds and are blessed with constantly renewed energy. They're capable of making it through the dark and finding their way back to the light. They are strong and brave and know just how to be seductive. Zodiac, isn't that one of the good death gods? I don't know. We've then got the vulture, which is Coscacuatli. The last half of it is essentially just the eagle anyway, but it bears the number 16. In Aztec astrology, it's a positive sign synonymous with good health, long life, and being responsible. People of this sign make gifted businessmen and women, and they move directly and calmly towards their goals. Number 17 is the earthquake, or Olin. It bears number 17 and represents beauty, which I'm sure anyone that actually has survived an earthquake probably wouldn't say is what its after effects look like. But people of this sign are wise and cautious, and they have a sense of justice. They're overflowing with imagination, and they're daring and highly energetic, as you could probably imagine someone the sign of an earthquake would be. They're highly energetic. Now, number 18, this site uses the word silex, which is essentially just a type of soil that's made up of sand and flint. Now, I do know for a fact that flint is, in some other interpretations, the word that they use for this. So we're going to go with flint here. Either way, it doesn't influence the fact that its traditional name is Tecpatli. It bears the number 18 and its colour is red for the earth. People of this sign are thorough, law-abiding, and moral. Clay, silex, flint, whatever you want to call it, they don't like lies. You try lying to them, they are not going to be too pleased with you. And they believe quite strongly in justice. They are often authoritarian and move through life without ever complaining. They're just happy to be told this is the way things are done, and they'll go off and do things. Our second to last one, rain. Whitley bears the number 19, and its colour is dark red, which is interesting for rain. Rain signs are passionate. They like acting on their whims, and they let themselves be guided by their impulses, which is probably a good thing half the time. I don't imagine it's a good thing most of the time. People of this sign are also quite versatile, however, so you've got that going for you at least. And then last but not least, Xochitl, the flower, bears the number 20 and its colour is white, which is kind of crazy that the flower of this month is also a white flower. But flower signs are crazy, tender, artistic, and have a great sensitivity. A flower sign will be full of life and vigour when paired with an eagle or a monkey. Cool. So again, some of those gave us like partnerships that would be great for them. Some of us gave them as numbers and colors, and some of us are just like, here's some personality traits, move on. So we then come down, the bottom of this has, and this is going to be a bit where you're going to have to do this yourself because there's just too many possibilities to be able to say yours. I don't know your birthday, so I'm just going to do mine to give the example. But the Aztecs associate the days of the year with 20 signs of the Zodiac, and they have a little table here so you can work it out. The first thing you're going to do is they've got a list of years. Are all of them represented, however? Yes. Okay, it starts again at the bottom, just in case you were curious. My birth year is 1994, which corresponds to the number 11. So we're going to take that number. I'm going to put it to the side for a second. I've already done my calculations, but we're using 11 as our first number. We then scroll down once we've got our birth year. Number 2, you then take to that number you've got from finding your birth year, you will then add the figure that corresponds with your birth month. Now January has 19, February has 10, March has 18. There's no order to this. April is 9, May is 19, June is 10, July is just straight up 0, August is 11, September is 2, October 12, November 3, December 13. Like I said, there's no pattern really, other than, there's not even that. I was going to say other than every second one is smaller, but even then that's not necessarily the case. Either way, my birth month is October, so that is 12, which now gives me 23 is what I'm working with. And then to that you add the day of the month you were born. It gives the example of just put 18 if you were born on the 18th, and that if you were born on the 29th of February during a leap year, you will need to add 1 to the total instead of 29. I don't know why that is. There's no context given on this page either. It just says, note, if you were born on the 29th of February during a leap year, you'll need to add 1 to the total. Now, I don't know if that's instead of adding 29 or what, because again, it gives us no context. But I was born on the 4th, so I now end up with 27 as my final number. Now, number 4 says, the number obtained should be between 1 and 20, because there's only 20 signs, so I can't be the 27th. However, if we make it a circle, you can just subtract 20 to find it, because once you get to 20, 21 is just going to be the first sign, which is the crocodile, so the 27th is just going to be the 7th. Makes sense? If you remember correctly, the 7th sign was the deer. And what did I say was possibly my signs? Well, the bat wasn't in this, so it wasn't going to be that, but there was the caiman, the crocodile, and the deer. And we got one. We got the deer. The deer is the one that I find most commonly comes up for me. So this made sense to me. Now that puts me as a deer. To give you a bit of perspective about me, I'll read it again. So it represents prestige and rarity because it's difficult to track. It's also synonymous with shyness, tenacity, and being a dreamer. And we are a sign that's highly sociable. That's me. I like to hang out with my friends. I have very big goals and aspirations that I would like to achieve in life. I can be rather timid, rather shy, but I also think I'm pretty tenacious as well. So it all sort of checks out. Plus the confidence boost by saying that my sign represents prestige and rarity. But yeah, I will link this one down below, because of the fact that you have to figure your own one out. But yeah, just remember that once you finish with your birth year and your month's number, and then adding the day of your birth, to make sure it ends up being a number between 20, which means that if you need to minus 20 from it, do so. And then yeah, from there you should be all good to find out what your Aztec Zodiac sign is. Once you find that out, let me know in the comments down below. Would love to have a chat to you about this. This is one of the ones that I'm weaker on as far as zodiacs are concerned. Like, I know my Chinese, I know my Western, I know my Celtic inside and out. Aztec and Mayan though, not so much. If you enjoyed this video, please hit a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and also ring the notification bell if you're already notified when I upload new videos. And yeah, until the next time guys, keep your head screwed on.